I was kind of reluctant to do the cancer testing initially. I don't want to walk around my neighborhood just holding pee in my hand. That's weird. We are long overdue for a life update. I've been a single mom who works 2 jobs. Why does it always feel like as soon as your partner leaves, that's when like shit hits the fan? Oh my gosh, I'm really unwell now. I see blood all over the floor. You've got to be fucking kidding me right now. Oh my gosh, we have bugs. We have some sort of infestation. What the fuck is this bug? I'm not mentally stable enough. I think I'll just fall down and die. Like, I don't know what I'll do. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the podcast. We are long overdue for a life update. And when I tell you life has been a movie lately, there are so many things that have been happening behind the scenes that I just haven't had the emotional capacity, the bandwidth, or the sanity, quite frankly, to update you guys on through social media. So I decided to do a sit down. We need to catch up. I need to bring you behind the scenes of things that have been going on in my life, with my health, the business, wedding planning, just so many little things that I want to go over and share with you. I posted a carousel recently on my Instagram with a collection of photos that are basically a depiction of the last like 7 to 10 days in my life. And the range is wide, and there's a lot of crying. There's a lot of happy moments. There's a, massive, beautiful, glossy photo shoot in there, the biggest photo shoot of my career. There's my dog bleeding all over the floor. There's me dying of a migraine. There's insects that I found in my house. There's a lot. So there's quite a bit of range. There's a lot of things I want to catch you up on and just bring you into the movie that has been happening in my life recently. So let's dive in. So firstly, I just want to do a quick little recap of Vegas because I know a lot of you were interested in hearing about my experience going out to acquisition.com headquarters once again to meet with Alex Hormozi's team. So I actually filmed an entire vlog of that experience, and it's live on YouTube now. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go watch the vlog because there'll be so much more. You'll be able to actually see and hear and just like be immersed in the behind the scenes experience of that entire trip. But in terms of like how the session actually was and what we actually did in the session, because we weren't able to film or record anything inside of the acquisition headquarters for obvious reasons, this session was different to the last because the last time I went out there, it was for a scaling workshop. There were a lot more people. It was more like teaching, people speaking on stages, and then like small groups that you would get broken out into for kind of like mini masterminding sessions with the acquisition team and the directors of all the different departments there that run their portfolio companies. So I did a whole episode on the podcast recapping that first initial time that I went out to Vegas. And in that, there was so many like nuggets of literal things from my notes, things that Alex said, things that Layla said, like things that I wrote down that we were learning. There was like some more tangibles in that one. But with this session, because it was more of a spotlight session, it was more small groups personalized to your business. There's not as much like takeaways that I can really share with you guys that are general or like applicable to you and your businesses, because the whole point was for me to go and to get direct feedback on my business and what I'm building and how I'm scaling and the plans that I have, and just have their eyes on exactly what I'm doing and giving me that kind of personal feedback. And so the way that it worked was you would get there and it was a whole day event. It was one day. And you're broken out into groups of like 5, and you kind of move throughout the day just with your group of 5 people. And so you get to sit in with a lot of the different directors, again, like the heads at acquisition that work on the portfolio companies that help them grow and scale. So you have like the director of marketing, you have the director of talent and acquisition, like HR type stuff. You have the sales guy, so all the different kind of pieces of the puzzle when it comes to building a business. You would get to sit at a table with each of those directors and learn from them through the format that's kind of like called spotlight sessions. And so the way that it worked was before we went out there for this specific workshop, we each individually got assigned one of the directors, and you would work with that director because they were going to be the person that evaluated a certain area of your business that was considered like the biggest constraint that you have in your business, the largest point of leverage currently that you have to grow in, so that they could study everything about your business, your revenue, your funnels, like all the things, and then basically take a look at it and diagnose, okay, here's the biggest area that we think you could grow in. Here's the director that's going to be able to help you with that. So then we got to go on Zoom. I met with mine twice. I had 2 meetings prior to going out there so that we could just be on the same page, kind of discuss where I'm at, what I'm working on, be in agreement over what the main constraint was. And then they go away and they basically come up with an entire plan for how to solve this constraint in your business and really help you scale moving forward. So once we got to the workshop, we would have our individual spotlight session with our director that we had been assigned to and that we had already spoken to on Zoom prior. And so they basically had a whole presentation ready for you. They had your name, your business, your photo on the screen. They had all of your stats for your business, your revenue, like your product suite, everything that you're doing, because we had to fill all of that out in the pre-work, and they needed all that information to really effectively be able to study our businesses and give us the best insight and path forward possible. So when it's your turn and you're at the table with the director who you were assigned to, you kind of get like pulled up on the screen. They show everything about your business and they kind of give you a one-on-one session just in front of the other like 4 to 5 people that are in your little group that you're like moving around with for the day. But that's your time to really get the personalized insight feedback, what they think the best plan forward is for you, how they recommend doing that, any resources that they want to share with you to help you create that. And then you can go back and forth and ask questions and go from there. And then it's valuable to everyone else in your group because they're getting to sit in on your spotlight session and take little nuggets and things that might be applicable to them. Just you're always learning and picking up these insights, even when you're watching other people get coached and seeing what the constraints are in their businesses, and then looking at what the expert advice is that they're getting from the directors that they were assigned to. So you have your one spotlight session of the day, and then you spend the rest of the day like traveling around with your group and meeting with the other directors and learning about other people's businesses and their constraints and what those experts are recommending to help them solve the problems in their business. So you're picking up more knowledge than just your one private session, but the main value really comes from having that one really private, like personalized session. So that was really cool. I found it super valuable. I loved it. I had fun. They fed us. There was like catering, meals, all the things. There was a cocktail hour at the end for networking. But that was basically it. It was from 8 a.m. until about 6 or 7 p.m. And then we went home after that. And I actually flew out that same night. So I spent the whole day at the workshop, and then I went back to the hotel, grabbed my stuff, kind of chilled for a little bit, onboarded some people because I had a bunch of people joining Top Tier at the time. So I was just working from my phone for a little bit. Then I went to the airport and I flew home on a red eye. So I flew home overnight. And so I was just kind of like in and out. It was a really quick trip to Vegas, but it was fun. And I went solo this time, which was interesting because I'm not a person who really loves to solo travel. I know everyone's like, oh, like, it really makes you like grow and whatever. I'm like, I'm not interested. At this point in my life, like maybe when I was younger, but at this point in my life, in my 30s, I'm like, I'm happily almost married. I love being with my partner. I love the company. Like, I don't like sleeping alone in a hotel bed. I just don't. I don't fucking like it. It makes me feel weird. I get anxious. I don't love it. So that's why I was like really in and out of the Vegas thing, but it was amazing. And I'm going to go back. I'll be back early next year. So definitely had a good time. And I always find value in learning from people who are, light years ahead. And yeah, just kind of, wanting to be the person who's putting myself in different rooms and spaces and not just getting absorbed with what the, immediate kind of like peers or mentors around me are doing within this kind of like coaching space. So I like to break free a little bit from that. Don't get me wrong. Like I love our space and I love people in our space and I have mentors like in our space, quote unquote. I don't know how else to say that without saying it like that. Even though I hate the way that sounds, but whatever, it is what it is. You get what I mean? But I also like to stretch myself and go and learn from people who are doing things differently or that have different kind of values and principles than me. Obviously, I'm not trying to build exactly what Alex Hormozi has built. And I don't want my whole life to be centered around my work and the way that his is, but there's a lot of things that he has built and done and understands that are super admirable, and I love learning from them. So I will be the girl like who will happily sit in with a room of sales bros to basically sharpen my sword and learn the tools and skills that a lot of other people, no offense, in our industry are not learning and do not know. And they're kind of like these like fake feminine spiritual business coaches that sometimes don't really have real strategy to back up how they are helping their clients. And maybe they're helping their clients with embodiment or with mindset or with other things, but they're calling it business coaching, but they don't have a lot of hard-hitting business strategy to back that up. So I really like having both sides of that spectrum. And you guys know that about me. Like I always talk about the fusion of the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang, like being both soft and hard. Like I love the dichotomy of like having both of those sides. And so I intentionally am doing things and putting myself in spaces where I get to sharpen both of those sides of my skill set. So that's kind of what Vegas was for me. And I'm excited to go back. And yeah, it was a really good way to stretch myself. I mean, the investment was kind of crazy. I think I talked about this in the vlog or maybe even in a recent podcast episode of just being like, oh my gosh, is this 40K for one day? Like, am I okay? But like I said, I got a lot out of it. I think it was worth it. And it's like, if you want to be in the top 1%, you have to do the things that other people won't do. Like you have to sacrifice things that other people won't. You have to spend money that other people won't. You have to take risks that other people won't. And that's ultimately like the mindset that I went into that experience with. And I was just not like thinking, oh, what if it's not worth it? Or what if I don't get something out of this? Or I hope it's really good. Or it's only one day. So how much could, no, it was like, no, I'm fucking doing this and it's going to be amazing and I'm going to get so much out of it. And just like deciding that the return is going to be there. And I've talked about this before of like, I'm the ROI. Like I don't worry about what's the ROI on investments or things that I choose to place my time, attention, energy, and money towards because I'm part of that experience. Like I'm the person that's going into the room that's going to be absorbing and listening and learning. So of course I'm going to get an ROI because I'm part of that equation and I get a return on my investment every single time, point blank, period. It doesn't matter because I've decided, because no matter what the knowledge or the wisdom or lack thereof is, I'm going to learn something. There's going to be lessons. There's something valuable. There's something I can teach. There's a light bulb moment. Like I know I'm going to get that. I've just decided that from the outset. So I wasn't really stressed about like, is this going to work out or is it going to be quote unquote worth it? I don't even really think about that anymore. Also because I just trust myself a lot with those things. And of course, like people make investments where they're like, whoa, the marketing was so misaligned with what we ended up getting. But luckily, don't really feel like I've gotten myself into any of those situations because of the discernment and self-trust of really being able to read people's energies and understand if someone is in integrity with who they say they are and what they say that they're going to deliver. So luckily that was my experience. I loved it. It was great. So to give some context for the rest of this life update, Jaime is currently away in Spain for a minor operation that he's having. He's totally fine. It's like nothing serious, but he's gone for almost 2 weeks. So I've been alone. I've been a single mom who works 2 jobs. And that is really, truly how I have felt because it's been a lot. And I think there's a lot of people that can relate to this. Why does it always feel like as soon as your partner leaves, that's when like shit hits the fan and so many things happen and you're like, of course I'm alone when this is going on. Like what the hell? I remember a time when we were living in Spain and he left, I think to maybe go get his like scuba diving certification or something. So he was off down in the ocean in Alicante or something. And Storm decides to swallow a tennis ball. So I'm like rushing. I'm alone. I don't have a car in Spain. I'm like calling his parents. I'm like rushing Storm to the vet, like thinking that they're going to have to like cut him open or that he might die. Like just chaotic things tend to happen when we get left alone. And I don't know why that is the case. But anywho, this time has been no different. There has been no exception. Okay. So these are all the things that have happened while Jaime's been gone. And like, I knew that I was going to be really busy, which is okay, that's fine. But also, I have a really high maintenance dog in the sense that he's like, I guess you could consider it a working breed. I don't know. He's really smart. He has a lot of energy. He needs mental stimulation. Like, he requires 3 to 4 walks a day, and he has since the day he was born. And that's been the life that we've given him since, yeah, for the past almost 8 years. So that's just what it is right now. So that's kind of tough when you live in a condo, when you don't have a yard, when you can't just open the door and be like, yeah, go outside, like go to the bathroom. No, you have to like get him on a leash, take him outside, walk him around the neighborhood so that he can do his thing. And he needs also exercise built into that. So it's like 3 to 4 walks a day. So it is kind of a lot. So before Jaime left for this trip, he organized for our neighbor who lives on our floor. He's so sweet. He really doesn't speak English, but he's the sweetest guy. Him and his wife are so cute. His wife does speak English, but he doesn't. So he only speaks Portuguese. So we can kind of like understand each other a little bit with like some Spanglish in there. But Jaime organized with him for him to come over and walk the dog every night at 8 o'clock. Like, we're paying him. It's all good. But that takes one walk off of my schedule with everything that I have going on with work and big projects. And we have a whole new like offer that I'm building and creating, plus the biggest photo shoot of my career that was coming up that week, and just so many things. So that was really good. That was super helpful. Jaime also meal prepped so much food for me, not like literal meals, but he just spent hours and hours the day before he was leaving basically cooking so many like veggies. He was air frying all these sweet potatoes for me, regular potatoes. He was cooking chicken, just like leaving all of this stuff in the fridge for me so that I would be set up more easily to be helped with like meals and stuff. So he is a kind and considerate king. We love that. And it was very sweet. And I cried because he was leaving when it was like the day before I was meant to get my period, and I was very, very emo. I was not okay. You would have thought he was like going to war. I was like really emotional, unwell, just crying the whole day. Like, felt like I was like never going to see him again or something. So anyways, he leaves, and right before he was leaving, the day before, our air conditioner shuts off. Now, it's August in South Florida, which means it is disgustingly hot and humid. It's like 90 degrees on the daily here. So that's like, I don't know, anywhere from like 32 to like 36 degrees Celsius. It is hot and really, really humid, like disgusting level heat. So the air conditioner shuts off, and I'm like, oh no, this is not good. So he's like, it's okay. It's probably just like backed up with a little bit of like algae or water or something. I'll clean it. So he cleans it. It turns back on. We're like, oh, thank God, it's working. And then, I kid you not, 15 minutes before he's walking out the door to get in his Uber to go to the airport, I'm meant to be getting on a call. I have a meeting, so I can't drive him to the airport. He has to get an Uber. The air conditioner shuts off again. And I'm like, no, because I cannot do this. I don't even know who to call. Like, I can't handle this on my own. So I start freaking out. He's on his hands and knees trying to like open the pipes and like suck out all this like water and algae and shit. The Uber is like literally waiting for him at the door. I'm like, I have to go. I have to get on a call. I'm crying because I'm like stressed and upset and like sad that he's leaving. I get on this call with my friend Chelsea, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, she's like, should we reschedule? I'm like, it's fine. So that was how it started. That was how all of this started. Luckily, he got the air conditioning working, and then I also got the maintenance guy in our building to come up and like clean it a little bit further and just check everything and make sure that it was going to be okay so that I could relax on that front. So that was really, really good. That week, I was pretty much okay. I was a little bit emo and like crying and like sad just because I was also on my period, but I was really busy. So I was super distracted by work because I had this huge photo shoot coming up. So I can't wait for you guys to see these images. And I actually vlogged the whole experience of this shoot. So that will be on my YouTube coming soon as well. But it was the biggest photo shoot of my career so far, in the sense that it was just the most like kind of elaborate and the biggest investment. So there was 3 different shooting locations that we were going to be shooting at. I booked professional makeup to be done that morning before the shoot. I also flew in a creative director from LA who you guys might know her because she's been on the podcast a couple of times. My friend Alyssa on Instagram, she's Inspired Media Co. She's iconic. So I flew her out from LA to Miami to do this shoot. She creative directed, she shot, she did all the things. She made the storyboard. Like it was a pretty big like project, I would say, even though we whipped it together last minute. There was a lot of props. There was a lot of things that I had to get organized in terms of like outfits and just so many props, I guess. So I had to source a lot of things. I had to print a lot of things. There was a lot of planning. So I was like working my ass off this week because not only was I preparing for this giant photo shoot and getting all this stuff prepared and ready, but also I was alone and taking care of my high maintenance dog on my own, who's also sick and low-key unwell. And clients, all the things, but also we were running like one of the biggest sales that we've done all year long after the Lionsgate. So we were running the Get Rich sale where everything was like 44% off. And so there was just a lot, there was a lot happening. So the night before the photo shoot, I'm getting all my last minute props together, and you guys will see this in the vlog of me like preparing everything behind the scenes. And I'm lugging like boxes and a giant like whiteboard down from my office, down through the elevator, down the stairs into the parking garage of my building, trying to get it into my car. I'm trying to fold the seats down in my car, which I've never done before because I haven't had a reason to. So picture me by myself, like just being a girl, trying to fold my seats down, put this big ass whiteboard in the back. I have to do so many trips up and down with all these boxes because I'm just one person and I have no one to help me. So I'm doing all this prep until like, I think 12:30 at night. Finally, I get everything prepared. I'm like, okay, cool, we're good. I have to wake up the next morning at like 5:30 because I have to be at my makeup artist's house at 6:30 a.m. So I get to my makeup artist's house. I'm like right on time, but just like a little bit late because I couldn't like find. I got a little bit lost. Okay, and so we start. We're all good. We're taking a little bit longer. It's running a little bit over, but I'm like, it'll be okay. It's fine. But then like last minute, she puts this setting spray on me, and then when I go to look at in the mirror at my final look, I see that I have this rash starting to form on my neck, and it is thick. It's huge. It's like my whole neck is covered in a red rash, and it's a very clear line and distinction. Like my neck is a totally different color than my face. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm already like 25 minutes late to when I needed to leave to get to downtown Miami for our first shooting location. And Lord knows what the traffic is going to be like going to Miami. Sometimes it could take you 40 minutes. Sometimes it could take you 90 minutes. Like you really do not know. So I was really, really cutting it close and for sure was going to be late at this point. So I was like, what do we do? Do we like try to put makeup over it? Is that going to irritate it more? Do we like try to wipe it off and clean it and then blend it? Like, what the fuck do I do? And I was like, we have to go quick. So what we ended up doing was she gave me some cortisone cream. I put that on it. She gave me a Benadryl. She was like, I just don't want you to be passing out for your shoot and also driving. So I was like, I'm not going to take the Benadryl yet, but if I need it later, I will. But the cortisone cream luckily helped me. And by the time I got to Miami, it was basically gone. So crisis averted, but like, my goodness, I was like, of course, the time when you spend like hundreds of dollars on professional makeup and then you like get a massive rash and you like need to be shooting for the biggest photo shoot in like 30 minutes and you're 30 minutes late, like, okay. And I have all this shit in the back of my car. And part of the shoot, we were shooting with the car. So once I got to the first location, which was a parking garage, I had to take all the props like out of the car so that we could put the seats back up because what we were shooting was going to look weird if the seats were like down and you could see into the car and there was just a giant like whiteboard in the back. So that was a whole process. Mind you, it's 90 degrees in Miami. We are shooting in the heat and it was just crazy. But luckily we got the shots. We figured it out. We were an hour late to our second shooting location, which was the most important thing for us to be on time for because it was a rented space and we had only rented it for 2 hours. So since we were an hour late, we're like, if we only have an hour here, we're literally fucked. Like, we're never going to get all the content that we needed to get in this location. By the grace of God, luckily, when we got there, they were like, you're all good. No one's booked right after you, so you can have it for an extra hour. So we still got it for 2 hours, which was, thank goodness, because even with that, we were like tight on the timeline. But we worked it out. We got the shots. We nailed it. It was all good. Then for our third shooting location, we went to one of the busiest like outdoor public malls in Miami, the Brickell City Center. And we were shooting and filming like with everyone just around us. And I'm in the most obscene outfit for what the weather was. Because again, it's August in Miami. It is so hot. It's sweltering. And I'm in these like very thick, almost like wool-like trousers. Then I have a long sleeve top on, like a long sleeve work top. And then I also had a trench coat. And when I tell you that we're shooting for like an hour and a half at least in this heat, and at least when we were in the parking garage, we could get some reprieve because we could jump into the car and like blast the AC. And then at the second location, we were inside, so it was all okay. But this one was truly a swamp. And you'll see in the vlog the sweat stains that were all over my back, huge sweat stains under my arms. Like, it was actually crazy. And I looked insane. I was walking down the streets and going up and down the escalators in like this outfit where everyone was like, is she okay? Like, what is she? Everyone else is in like bikinis and cover-ups and flip-flops and just like, it's hot as balls. And like, I'm wearing a literal winter like work outfit. So it was crazy. It was crazy, but it was worth it. And it was so, so fun. And it was really fun to work with Alyssa in person, and just like her creative visions are so good. And then my friend, who's also named Alyssa, came with us to just help with like props and behind the scenes stuff. So we went out to lunch after that at the Brickell City Center, and we had like the most delicious lunch. And it was a really good time. It was like a fun girls' day where you're just like taking photos. It's a moment. And yeah, it ended up being a really, really good day, and we got all of the content that we needed. So that's the positive. So you'll be able to see all the behind the scenes of the chaos of the shoot and all the preparation and all the things on the vlog when that's available on YouTube. So that was on a Friday. The day after the photo shoot, it's Saturday morning, but I don't get to rest. No rest for the wicked. I have to wake up at 6:30 a.m. because I have to take my dog to a new vet to get a third opinion about what's been going on with him recently. So on Instagram, I've kind of shared a little bit here and there about Storm's ongoing UTI saga. He's been on antibiotics for over a month. Nothing seems to be solving it. We don't know what's going on with him. There's a lot of different kind of symptoms and things. There's a whole like history of a cascade of events that we feel like have kind of led to this issue, but there's not a lot of clarity on how to fix it, and nothing seems to be resolving it. So I had to get in with a new vet, and the only appointment that I had available that was like soon was this 8 a.m. Saturday morning appointment. So I had to wake up at the ass crack of dawn on Saturday morning to get ready, take him for his walk so that he can do his stuff, and then drive him to this new vet appointment. So we get there, and I'm telling that we're going through his case and, you know, his history and everything that we've tried and everything that we've done. And essentially the vet tells me that they agree with, you know, the previous opinions that we've received, and that the most logical next step is that we do need to get him tested for cancer. So I knew that this was a potential possibility because it had been thrown out there from the other vet that we went to, that might be the next steps if the antibiotics don't seem to be clearing the symptoms that he's having of this like quote unquote UTI that we think that he has. So we've done like multiple urine cultures. We've, you know, studied the bacteria. They've looked at what antibiotics work on the bacteria. We've done like, it's not like we're shooting blind. Like, we really have given him medications that according to them were supposed to treat the bacteria that he had. But for whatever reason, it's not really fully clearing his symptoms. So I get the unfortunate news from this new vet that like that is the most logical next step. And we just have to rule that out. He's like, it might not be that, but we really can't give you the best plan forward until we know that it's not. Because if we do find out that there is some sort of mass or something on his bladder, then the treatment plan and the next steps forward are going to look a lot different than if it's not that. And if it's not that and it's still this big mystery, then maybe I need to refer you to a specialist and we will kind of go from there. But we have to figure out if it could be this or not. So I was kind of reluctant to do the cancer testing initially, a couple of weeks ago with the other vet, because I was just like, I don't want us to just jump to the conclusion that he's like has cancer, because I don't really think that he does. But that's what we had to do. So that was the news that I left that office with. And like I said, I was on my period alone for several days at this point since Tuesday. So Tuesday to Saturday, I had been doing everything myself, living alone, sleeping alone, working a ton, having this huge project. There's a lot of like stress and things on my shoulders. And then I get told that like, yeah, we need to test your dog for cancer because that's a likely possibility that might be happening. So of course I was so emotional about that. I was like bawling my eyes out all day long. Just your mind kind of goes to the worst places of like, what is going to happen if they tell me that he does have cancer, right? Like, what is that going to mean for his life, for his comfort, for the treatment plan, for us, for our schedules? Like, what are we going to do? Like financially, what is that going to look like? Like you just kind of start going down that rabbit hole. And I didn't have anyone to lean on. I didn't have my partner with me to like talk about that with and like process it with. So that was like a really heavy day for me. And I woke up the next morning and it was time to start my 2-day fast, which is just a prelude to let you know that the fast did not go well. Clearly, I don't think I was in an emotional state to really be doing a fucking fast, but that's on me, my genius idea. So anyway, this kind of brings us to the health journey that I've been going on. So I got inspired to really like take my health into my own hands and just optimize a lot. Probably because I'm feeling motivated by the wedding. But to be fair, I've been wanting to do this for a while, to just get a ton of functional testing done, to see what all of my levels are at, to really take a look at my hormones. Like I've done testing and things before, but it's several years ago. I really don't know what my gut health is like. I was, told that I had leaky gut many years ago back in Spain. I don't know if I've like healed that or if there's still some of that going on. Ever since getting off of birth control, I've suspected that my hormones aren't perfectly balanced because I have certain symptoms that I don't love. Like I get estrogen headaches. I have breast tenderness leading up to my period. I'll break out a little bit more when I'm ovulating, when I'm menstruating. So like certain things where I just know I'm like, if my levels were optimal, like these things wouldn't necessarily be happening. So I wanted to take a look at all of that stuff. And I really wanted to take a holistic approach to healing my melasma because that has been really just annoying. And I think about like getting my makeup done for my wedding and like being outside in the sun and I just don't want to feel like self-conscious about it, and I don't want to feel like my face looks dirty because that's what it feels like when you have melasma, when you have these like dark splotches. Sometimes people get it above their lip, but like I have it on my two like cheeks a little bit, but mainly the darkest one that I have is on my forehead. And so depending on like the lighting, and especially if I'm not wearing makeup, like it's very obvious. It's like I have dark brown splotches like across my forehead. And if the makeup isn't fresh or like professional or really, really good, sometimes in certain lighting, it can just look like your face is like dirty. So I definitely wanted to work on that. When I wake up in the morning, I don't have a ton of energy. It's really hard for me to wake up with my alarm. So I wanted to solve that. Like there was just a lot of things that I wanted to look at. I also do want to like lose a little bit of fat and lean out slightly. I think I look really good. I loved the way I looked in my wedding dress when I tried it on. So I think I'm going to feel confident regardless, but just I want like that next little edge of like optimization just to feel like really, really good inside and out. So I decided to go on this health journey. One of my incredible clients who's in top tier is helping with me with it because she's an incredible practitioner. And so we did all of this functional testing and I tested for so many different things. We tested for like stress, mood, metabolism, heavy metals, mold toxicity, gut health, parasites, candida, omega-3 and inflammation levels. Like we looked at my cortisol, my thyroid, my hormones, food sensitivities, like so many things just to get the full picture and then create a unique personalized protocol for how I can achieve my health goals and like get to that place of optimization. So I'm really, really excited about this journey and I still am. But it kind of, this fast that I went on um, after the photo shoot and after taking Storm to the vet was part of the process. And it did not go totally to plan. But some other things that are, before I like talk about that whole story, some other things that I've been doing as part of this health journey is I got my first DEXA scan. So I've never had one of those before, but it's like a really in-depth body scan where you can see all of your like fat percentages, lean muscle mass. You can see like your body fat, but also your visceral fat, which is like the fat. I mean, they say it's like the fat that's like more around your organs. That's like the fat that's more dangerous to your health. And you can look at like the differences between, do you have like, is your left arm stronger than your right arm? Is your right leg stronger than your left leg? Like those kind of like little discrepancies. Where do you have excess fat? Exactly where is it located on your body? What are the levels? What does that look like? So there's a lot that you can like pull from a DEXA scan, but for me, I was like pretty much like overall like happy and unsurprised with the results. I was really grateful to find out that I have almost no visceral fat. So that was a positive. That was one thing that like you just can't really know until you check it because you're not going to see it physically on the outside of your body. So that was really good. I think it was like 0.13% or something. So almost no visceral fat. So that was a really good sign. My body fat percentage was 27%, which is okay. It's in normal range, but my goal that I set for myself is to get it down to 23, which isn't anything super like low to where you're putting yourself in danger of like losing your period or like disrupting your hormones, but just kind of like bringing it down slightly so that I feel a little bit more lean, especially in certain like areas of my body. So that's a goal that I have with that. So of course, within my own unique protocol, there's going to be like lots of supplementation and different things that I'm doing for my diet and whatever. But the experience starts with this like 21-day cleanse, like detox. And the first part of that is this 2-day fast that I was starting on the Sunday after the photo shoot and all of that. So it's not no food. It's not like a no food fast. It's not a water fast. You have 4 shakes a day. So there's a little bit of protein in it. There's a lot of like vitamins, minerals, but like there's no carbs. So it's still very like minimal caloric intake. And you're doing that only that for 2 full days. So the first day was like totally fine. Obviously, I was thinking about food more because I was like not able to eat anything, but I wasn't starving. I think it was just wanting the satisfaction of like eating something that wasn't a liquid and like crunching on something or like having a snack. But I was good the first day. The first day was great. Second day, I wake up in the morning, day as usual. I go to the gym. I do a really, really light, like super lazy workout. I think we did like 4 movements. So light workout, go home. And I'm like just feeling a little bit low energy because I haven't eaten anything in 30 something hours. So that's obvious. We're like, okay, just take it easy. I'm like, all right, I'm going to move things off my schedule. I'm not going to do any work today. I'm just going to chill. So I'm laying on the couch. I'm watching some Netflix. I'm really just chilling, taking it easy. But then the headache sets in. And I'm like, oh gosh, I'm getting this headache. I'm not, I don't want to take any like Advil, Excedrin, anything like that because I'm supposed to be like cleansing my liver. So I want to avoid that. I'm drinking lots of water, electrolytes, all the things. But eventually we decide collectively I should probably break my fast. That's enough. I had done 40 plus hours, eat something so that we can bring the headache down and like feel okay. So I eat something. And then probably like 30 minutes later, I was like, the headache became so intense that I was so nauseous. I ran to the bathroom, threw up everything that I had just ate, and was like, oh my gosh, I'm really unwell now. Like the headache transitioned into full on migraine where it's so painful. Like you just have to cover your eyes. You need an eye mask on. You can't stand up. Like everything hurts. And I couldn't get food down at this point because I was so nauseous from the migraine. So it starts going downhill really, really fast, like really bad. I'm feeling so not okay. And I had to take the dog for a walk still. I think that was before I puked though. I took him for like a quick walk, but it was so fucking hot outside. It was like 95 degrees, sweltering. I'm dying of this like intense headache. And then I think when I got back is when I ate, and then I couldn't keep that down. And then I was like really declining fast. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? I'm alone. There's no one here to help me. It's hard for me to even stand up to get to the freezer to get like an ice pack to put on my head. I like really can't take care of myself adequately. At this point, I know I need some sort of medicine. I'm like, fuck the fast. I don't even care. I just like, I need to figure out how to feel better. But I can't really take any medicine because I can't keep any food down. So I'm like, okay, I need some like toast. Of course, there's no bread in my house because I'm on a 21-day cleanse where I like wouldn't be eating bread. So I'm like, all right, let me order something from Pura Vida. I order a couple of things and I close my eyes and like lay my head down on a pillow while I'm waiting for the Uber Eats to arrive. My phone doesn't ring when they arrive. I shoot up in like 30 minutes and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're probably here. Let me check my phone. I open my phone to all these messages like, your Uber driver is here. Please answer the door. Your Uber driver is leaving. Your Uber driver has left. I'm like, no. So I'm like texting back. I'm like, I'm here. I can open the door. Please. I jump up. The Uber driver's like, okay, I can come back, but can you please come down because I couldn't get into the building. So I jump up. I have no bra on. I have slippers on, pajama pants, a giant baggy t-shirt, an eye mask on my head. I look like absolute dog shit. I'm running to the elevator, going down into the lobby of my building, waiting to open the door for this Uber driver. Luckily, she came back. She gave me my food. I was like, oh, thank God. So I bring it up to my house and I like try to take a bite of the bagel that I got, which was like the closest thing that they had to a piece of toast. Nothing on it. I take a bite. I'm like, bleh. Can't do it. Can't do it. So I'm like, oh my God, all of this for nothing. I can't even eat this. So I go back to lay down. I put some frozen blueberries on my head. I'm struggling so hard. Next thing you know, I have to go to the bathroom or something. So I get up again. I look, I see blood all over the floor next to the dog. It's like his foot has like spread it all around. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me right now. What is going on? He's bleeding. And with all of the health things that he's been having and the UTI, I'm like, if that blood is like from his urine or something, like that's really, really bad. So I'm panicking. I start like rolling him over, looking at him, trying to find the source of where this blood is coming from. I'm cleaning blood off the floor while wincing and holding my head because I can barely stand to like make any movements. Luckily, it was just this cut that he has on his foot that like reopened and was bleeding. And then he like smudged it all around on the floor. So it looked worse than it was. But I was like, I can't even clean his foot right now. I really was so incapacitated that I could not do anything. So I'm laying down, fighting for my life, trying to just survive the pain and get to a place where I can maybe swallow a few bites of the bagel so that I can take some medicine and hopefully get this headache to go down. And the doorbell rings. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the neighbor because he's coming to walk the dog because he comes to walk the dog every night. So I get up, I like struggle to get to the door. I open the door I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sick. He's like barely understanding me, right? Because he doesn't speak English, but he sees that I look like a ghost. I look so bad. So he takes Storm, he takes him for the walk. I go back to bed because I'm like, I'm dead to the world right now. Next thing you know, Jaime's calling me. He's like, hey, the neighbor called me. Mind you, it's like 3 a.m. in Spain. He's like, the neighbor called me. He said that you really don't look good. So now I'm even more stressed. I'm really worried about you. Like, what's going on? What do you need? I'm like, I just need to be able to eat something. I need ginger ale. I need I need a saltine cracker. Like and I don't have any of this in my house. And I don't have the strength or the capacity to like do another online order or even look at my phone. I couldn't even look at my phone. And that's why I wasn't calling people for help, because I like literally couldn't even lift up my phone and stand to look at it for more than like 2 seconds, or else it would like make me like woozy and want to vomit again. So Jaime calls my mom, and I really would have like called one of my parents and asked them to come to Florida to like help me. Like not just for the migraine, but I mean like for the week that Jaime was gone, I would have normally been like, Mom, do you want to come down and like stay with me and like help me, because I cannot manage the size of my life and my house and my dog and all the things on top of like my work right now. But I couldn't do that because my niece is turning 1 and my whole family was going to be in Buffalo for her birthday party and for a visit. So my whole family's together in Buffalo. So my mom calls me and I answer the FaceTime. I'm not even looking at the phone because, again, I can't look at the screen. And I just hear screaming children in the background. I'm like, no. I'm like, please get away from the babies, get away from the children. I cannot do this right now. So I'm talking to her on FaceTime without even like looking at the phone. And she's getting really worried. My dad is booking flights for her to get on a plane first thing the next morning to come down and like rescue me. And so the neighbor ends up telling his wife, who does speak English, that I'm not okay and that I probably need some help. So she comes to check on me, and I ask her if they have any saltine crackers or ginger ale or Sprite or something of the sorts, because I just need to be able to eat something so that I can take some medicine. And she's like, okay, we don't have that, but I'm going to go get you some. So she runs to the store. She buys me this stuff. She comes back. Mind you, this is like my neighbor who we live on the same floor, but it's not like we're besties. It's not like we hang out. It's not like we're like close friends. They're older than us. They're like in their 40s or 50s. Super, super nice people. Like we're friendly with them, but it's not like an intimate, close person. So she's like, it's just so funny when you're like, when you truly need help and you're that incapacitated that like a kind of a stranger has to like come into your house and give you like an iced beverage on your bedside table. Like I'm literally like sprawled out on my bed. I can't even get up. I'm like, just come in. Just come in. So she's coming into my bedroom. She's setting things up on my bedside table. She's giving me crackers. She's like, do you want ice with this? She's going into my kitchen, getting ice, like pouring me a glass of ginger ale. And she's like, I don't want to be too intrusive, but like you really need like some fluids and stuff, and you don't look good. So if you don't start to feel better soon, you just text me and I'll come and like take you to the ER. And I was like, okay, cool. So that's when I was like, it has to be my mission to like eat something so that I can take medicine so that I can feel better. So I forced myself, and I was able to take a couple of bites of some things. And then I took some Advil, and luckily, like gradually, slowly, like the pain started to subside to the point where I could fall asleep, get rest. And by the morning, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like a new person. Thank God. Because that was so intense. And if you're someone who has migraines, you're like, yeah. You're going on and on about something that we experience all the time. But like, I don't have migraines. So I was like, what the fuck is this? It literally feels like you're dying. Like, there's nothing you can do. You can't stand up. You can't look at anything. You can't open your eyes. You can't use your phone to get help. Like, you truly are just fucked. Like, you are just fucked. That's the best way to describe it. And also, I was just like completely alone. Like, normally I would have people around me to help me. Like, I would have family, or Jaime would be there, or someone. I just felt so alone, and I was so deep in pain that it was like kind of scarier for that reason. Cause I'm like, if something bad is happening to me because I haven't eaten for 2 days, like what if I really am super depleted and like I'm not okay? Like, and I'm all alone and something happens, and like who's gonna take care of my dog? And like he's the most needy dog on the planet, and he's also bleeding, and like he's sick, and like whatever. So it was a whole mess. But luckily I felt better the next morning. And I just had to clear some things off my schedule, take my life a little bit easier, move some things around, do a little bit less work. I still felt like for 2 days after that, I had like the kind of sensation of like a headache, like brewing in the background. So I was just being really careful to make sure that I was like eating foods. I stopped doing like the whole like shakes and like fasting. I was like, fuck the diet. Like I just need to like get myself better. And then I can go back to eating in like a really like specific way that's like clean for, my goals that I have. But that was that. And it was a lot. The one thing that I missed about this was in the midst of all of that happening, of the migraine, of Storm bleeding and whatever, and me puking and whatnot, somewhere in the middle of all of that, I discovered like a little insect on the floor of my kitchen. And I was like, that's a funny looking bug. I wonder where that came from. And then I found another one. And then like a little while later, I found another one in the office and another one in the bathroom. And so then I was like, oh my gosh, we have bugs. We have some sort of infestation. What the fuck is this bug? And they kind of looked like they might be little cockroaches. Now, cockroaches are really common in South Florida. Like they're everywhere. The building gets sprayed all the time, but you'll see like dead ones around. You'll see them running in the streets at night. Like, I know that sounds disgusting, but like there just are cockroaches around. So I'm like, it wouldn't be that crazy. But if there's baby cockroaches, does that mean that there's like mama cockroaches somewhere? And where the fuck are they hiding? And if I open something, are cockroaches going to run out? I just was like, I'm not mentally stable enough for the fact of if I have a cockroach infestation in my house right now. Because I think I'll just fall down and die. Like, I don't know what I'll do. So I'm somehow like managing to take a picture of it and to put it in ChatGPT and have it analyze what bug it is. Luckily, it immediately says like, nope, 100% it's not a cockroach. Like it doesn't have the key, like, kind of features of a cockroach. So it's not that. ChatGPT tells me that it's basically this type of bug that can be found in like rice, pasta, oats, grains, like they like live in food and like eat off of food. So I'm like, ew, does that mean that like my cabinet is infested or like something in there has fucking insects in it? And I was like, I'm not well enough to try and figure that out right now. So I'm just going to have to hope and pray that I don't see any more of these little bugs and pretend that that's not happening. The next day, the exterminator for our building who comes and like goes to each unit and sprays like every so often was luckily coming anyways. It was so serendipitous. It was perfect. And he also confirmed that yes, it is that type of bug. So he sprayed, and I haven't seen them since, but I told Jaime, I was like, yeah, I will not be opening up our cabinets and going through all these food items and like praying that like a bunch of little insects don't start running out, because I'm not mentally and emotionally stable enough for me to do that. So I will be waiting another 4 days until you're home, and then you can do that, because I've been through enough. Your girl has been doing a lot. I've been really busy. I've been really stressed. I've been holding a lot. I've been handling a lot. And that's one thing that I will not be doing, is checking if we have an insect infestation in a bag of rice or something somewhere. So that was Monday. I wake up on Tuesday, like I said, the day after the migraine, and I'm like, okay, at least I'm alive. I'm feeling better, but I do need to take it easy. However, that was the day that I needed to do Storm's cancer test. So it was a urine sample, but I had to collect it myself. So they gave me this little jar where it's like you need to fill 50 milliliters of urine, and it needs to be his first pee of the day. So first thing in the morning when you take him out, you got to collect that urine, and then you have to drive it to the vet and deliver it as soon as possible, and then they'll send it off to the lab. So I was like, okay, I got to do the urine test today. How are we going to do this? I wake up and I'm like, all right, I got to take him outside soon. So I have to get creative about how I'm going to collect this urine. Like, I've never done a urine sample with my dog. Like, hopefully he's chill with it and he just lets me, pop something under there and like collect his pee. So I get creative. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a Tupperware container because I'm going to take him outside. He's going to have his first pee, but then we are going to need to complete his walk and he's going to need to do the rest of his duties and all the other sorts of stuff. So whatever I collect it in, it has to be big enough. I can't use the tiny, like, thing that they gave me to collect in because I'm going to get pissed all over. Like my hand's going to get peed on. So I need something bigger. And I also need something that I can close and seal because I have to finish his walk. And then when I get home, I'll just transfer the urine from the bigger container to the actual like testing tube that they need it in. And then I'll like drive it to the vet from there. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this Tupperware container. And it actually worked out pretty easily. Like he wasn't weird about it at all. I just kind of like slipped it under there and filled it up with some pee. I was like, I hope that's enough. Put the top on. I put it in like one of those Lululemon bags that you get when you shop there. It's kind of like structured, but it has like a flat bottom so that the Tupperware would like sit flat in the bag while I hold it over my shoulder while we finish our walk. Because I also was like, I don't want to walk around my neighborhood just holding pee in my hand. That's weird. So I needed to like put it in the container, but then have a bag to put the container in so that I could be chill and I could walk and I could seem normal. So I do that. I'm like super proud of myself. I'm like, okay, get it, girl. We almost died last night and now we're slaying. Like we're figuring this out. We're solving all these problems. We got this. So I get home, I set the bag on the counter and I'm like cleaning up the kitchen or doing something. And then I'm like, all right, let me transfer that urine sample into the actual container that it needs to be in. I open up the bag and there's pee all over the bag. I'm like, no, it spilled. It fucking spilled. There was like a tiny crack in like the lid of the Tupperware or something. And like some of the pee spilled. But luckily the Lululemon bag was like a good, sturdy, like kind of structured enough bag to where the stuff that spilled was still, I think, usable. So I'm like literally standing in my kitchen. You can just picture me with everything that I've already been through. I'm standing in my kitchen. There's pee all over my hands because I have to lift the Tupperware out that has leaked and has urine all over it. And I'm holding up this Lululemon bag and I have a tiny little sample cup and I'm trying to get the pee into a corner of this bag so that I can gradually and gracefully pour it and slide it down the corner of this bag so that it will go into the sample cup. And then whatever's left in the Tupperware, also fill that. I'm like, one, this is disgusting. There's dog piss all over me. It's dripping on my floor. This bag in this Tupperware is going in the trash because what the hell? But we got it done. We got it in the car. We drove it to the vet. We delivered it. It's signed, sealed, delivered, done. And now we're just waiting for those results. So I'll keep you guys updated. I'll let you know what happens. I feel pretty hopeful that it's not anything serious, but you never know. And I think, Jaime was like, well, if it is that, one of us has to go to Spain because he's going to get much better treatment. It's going to be way more affordable. My parents will be there to help us take care of him. So I'm already thinking in my head, like, imagine if I have to move to Spain right now for like a couple of months by myself also because Jaime's job wouldn't let him be in Spain for that extended period of a time. Imagine if I literally have to like move to Spain for a couple of months for my dog's cancer treatment while I'm like trying to plan a wedding and like do all this. I don't know. So my brain has just been going in a million different places and directions. We don't really know what's going to happen. But like I said, I feel hopeful. The last final updates that I'll give you guys is just like wedding planning bits and pieces that have been happening behind the scenes. Most things are done and planned and have been, like all the main vendors, locations, my dress, all the important stuff was booked back in March and April when I like went really hard into wedding planning as soon as we found our venue, we found our location, and then the rest of the stuff just kind of like started happening and snowballing from there. So that's all done. And now we're just kind of doing some other little pieces. Like we recently booked the villa for where my family and I are going to stay in the lead up to the wedding. And it's also where we're going to host the like quote unquote rehearsal dinner. Spanish weddings don't do rehearsal dinners, even though they definitely should, because no one practices where they stand or what they do or what they say. So no one knows what the fuck is happening in Spanish weddings. So we definitely should do a rehearsal, but it's called the pre-wedding, like the pre-boda. So that's where we will have that little celebration the night before. Really beautiful villa, like so picturesque, like mountains in the background, gorgeous sprawling lawn and gardens with this amazing pool, like just so pretty. The really long, like outdoor tables where we can eat. We'll probably do like drinks and paella and things. So I'm really, really excited for that. So that was booked. I'm currently trying to find my party dress, like my second dress. I think I've decided that I want to do a second dress for the wedding just because I need leg room. I need space. I need to be able to dance. Like your girl's got to be on the dance floor. We need to be booty popping. We got to be dropping it low. Like I can't be in a gown when I'm doing that. I'm sorry. I just can't. So I'm looking for my party dress. A lot of you have told me on Instagram that you do not regret it. You loved it. It was one of your favorite decisions to do a second dress. Highly, highly recommended from you guys. So I trust you. I think I'm going to go with it. So we're in the process of that. We are also in the process of chartering a big boat, which will be really fun for everyone just like a few days before the ceremony. So yeah, we just want to take everyone out on a boat day because it's going to be in Mallorca. Like how fun. Like we've got to go out on a boat. We need to do a fun like boat day and then sunset, and we like want to have drinks and food on the boat. And we just think it'll be a fun like activity to have, especially for my people who are coming from all the way from America. They're obviously going to want to be in Spain for a couple of days, if not, a week or more to make a vacation out of it. So we might as well give them something fun to do in the lead up to the wedding events. So that's something that we're working on that I'm excited about. And yeah, hopefully everything's not booked. And just finalizing the wedding website and like the invitations are done. Those are all, that was a really fun project to work on. They are so cute. Oh my God. I'm obsessed with them. I love them. I can't wait for people to see them, but they're in production. So I don't have them physically yet, but like the designs are done. They're in production. They're kind of in the final stages. So they should be done soon. And that was a whole project in and of itself because we had to do 2 versions, one in Spanish, one in English. The wedding website has been a project because everything needs to be written in Spanish and English. So yeah, that's kind of the update. I've been doing a lot. I have been busy, but a lot of exciting things happening. I can't wait for you guys to see the rollout of this new offer that the photo shoot was for. The images and the branding of it is sickening. When I say sickening, I truly mean like it's so, so good. It was so much fun and I'm so proud of it. So yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me for this life update. There was just too many things happening in my life. It's been a movie. I needed to share it with you. I needed to tell you all the things. I'm like, you guys need to know what's going on. So we were long overdue for one of these little sit down chats. I hope you enjoyed this episode and thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy it or you like these kind of like little life updates, just let me know on Instagram, shoot me a DM, let me know that you listened. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. Love you. Bye.